Hey guys, how you doing? It's Friday night, and this is KJ's What Happened, covering January 6th through January 12th, 2018. So welcome back. This is kind of a news type show. I guess the closest I could ever come to a news type show where I cover different bits I've picked up on throughout the week, and we just kind of discuss it. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already got all the tabs ready to go. Actually, thanks also to all of you out there who've written to me about different ad blockers and given me links. I've got an ad block on here now that's working, which is nice. So it should run pretty smooth. Anyway, once again, welcome. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you in the chat. I don't have a chance to look at the chat while we're doing the show, but at the end of the show, I'm thinking about hitting the chat and just asking if there's any news bits any of you have seen you want to throw down in the chat, and we can discuss if I've seen it or know anything about it. So until then, let's take a look at this right here. Well, the first thing I have up, starving mob beat cattle to death with rocks in a desperate search for food, and 4 people are killed during looting in Venezuela as country's economic collapse continues. I'm not going to go real deep into the story. If you don't know about Venezuela, look it up. Well, let's scroll down. I think they have some pictures of what's happening out there. Here's some images of all these people chasing the cow. They're hungry. They're hungry. And this is what they've become. Dozens of men shout, "We are hungry," and people are suffering as they surround the cow in the field, throwing stones at it and beating it with a stick. The helpless animal was slaughtered at the Hacienda Miraflores in the fishing village of Palmarito in Merida during a day deadly of civil unrest and looting in the state. Here's some more images here. Now there's a video, but I'm not going to play it. It's incredibly brutal. I think you get the point. You can always come check this out if you want to see that video. Here's some images. Looting has been increasing in provinces since Christmas, with food shortages and hyperinflation leaving millions of people hungry. Through the capital, Caracas has so far been largely unaffected, men appearing to loot a petrol tanker elsewhere in Venezuela. We got this. It's chasing him. Looks like he's... What is that? When the animal finally falls to the ground on the footage, more villagers gather around, presumably to begin the distribution of its meat. Pictured is a man carrying what looks like part of the cow away from the field. You know, a lot of us can say we've been broke. Good Lord knows I've been broke a lot in my life, but a lot of us think we're poor. But somehow we can always scrounge up $1 for a double cheeseburger, right? Can you imagine being this hungry that you have to resort to this? Stuff like this is happening in Puerto Rico, as well. Since the hurricane. Look at these pictures. It's a refrigerated supermarket shelf in Caracas, and this is from Thursday. Here's a meat counter in Caracas supermarket. Look at that. There's nothing there. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos on Thursday called his Venezuelan counterpart Nicolas Maduro to accept international aid to help Venezuelan people to stop suffering, hunger, and lack of medicine. There's an image right there of a supermarket shelf with nothing on it. So if you're into praying, pray for the people. They need it. If you're not, send them good thoughts, I believe is what people say. Send them good intentions. Hungry homeless woman eats a cat in a busy street in Venezuela. I don't need to see that, but you get the idea. What else we have around here? Okay, so this I thought was interesting. This is a new movie. This just came out today, this trailer for Red Sparrow. Jennifer Lawrence And I say this is an Illuminati type movie because it's covering something that's been exposed and talked about for many years when it comes to Illuminati mind control and how to create a mind control slave. So a lot of these things are in this trailer. I can't really play it for copyright, but I'll show you a few things here. Let's see. So anyway, this is kind of like a classroom. They take these people in, guys and gals, and they basically break their minds down. And they talk about this in the trailer. That once you're through with this, you'll never be the same again, and all this other stuff. Lots of symbolism throughout it. A lot of the lady in red symbolism you've probably heard about. If not, look into that. The Illuminati lady in red symbolism turns up in halftime shows, awards shows, movies, commercials, TV shows. So anyway, this is where they do the kind of indoctrination, and they turn them into killers and assassins. It's also the Alpha Assassins. Look up Illuminati Alpha Assassin. So you kind of get the idea. Just interesting how more and more they put this stuff right out in front of the people. Right? Jennifer Lawrence, who was in one of the most satanic films I've ever seen called Mother. I did a video on that one as well. And then as she was promoting Mother, she went on Jimmy Fallon and wore upside down cross earrings. So right before our eyes, yet so few people see. There's some of the assassin type training. I'm just kind of clicking around here a bit. There was some lady in red stuff. They had her in a red dress in a few of these. But anyway, if you want to watch this, check it out. There's the trailer. And there you go. More Illuminati programming. Taylor Swift just dropped them. Speaking of which, this was interesting. It's this channel is like an entertainment type channel. It's not a conspiracy channel or anything like that. And they even they noticed all these snake references in Taylor Swift's in-game video. So it's all the snake references because she's serving the serpent, the beast system, a sellout to satanic Hollywood. Some people call it Illuminati Hollywood, but hey, the lady in red. So there she is with the lady in red. There's that. Snake around her neck. She's even hawking snake-themed jewelry, black snake ring. The serpent. You know, we know who this kid serves. The earrings right there is a serpent wrapped around some kind of a black rock, maybe a black cube, who knows. Black stones. Okay, there it is. Say a child of the devil. Not trying to make light of it, but for real, these are total sellouts. And, you know, these are idols to millions of young people around the world. At least at one time they were. I think a lot of them might be kind of moving on and out of the spotlight. And imagine there's going to be something or some new groups type groups coming up. But snakeskin suit there. Hey, Lady Gaga. You know, this is another. Oh wait, no, it's not Lady Gaga. That's Jeffree Star. I don't know who Jeffree Star is. I'm guessing that's a trans person. The look is pretty similar to an outfit vlogger Jeffree Star wore while shading the singer. So there you go. These same type, you know, symbols and these same ideas always pop up together, don't they? They seem to time and time again. And she's playing a snake game. So anyway, I think you get the point. It's a sellout before our very eyes. Again, you know, most people don't see it like that. You know, most people just think it's, oh, neat, snakes. Turn the volume up. All right. What else we got up in here? Let's just kind of jump around a bit. Sorry, see what this is here. Okay, yeah, this one's an interesting one, and this one's for the flat Earth people out there. Virgin Galactic will send tourists into space within months. Richard Branson's VSS Unity spaceplane completes another successful glide test 3 years after the firm's deadly crash. So the plane dumped water to simulate the shift in weight when fuel is used. Test marks a key step toward the firm sending tourists into space this year. This year. So this could be huge. This could either be the nail in the coffin for flat Earth theology, because it's a religion the way I see it. A bit of a cult for some. This could be the nail in the coffin for that, or this could be the discovery of, like, really one of the greatest deceptions that's ever been placed upon humankind, ever, in the history of ever. So this is kind of a big deal as far as I see it. I'm thinking that we'll see, and if not, we should see some flat earther out there, because they have, like I said, it's like a religion. These people really stick together, these groups, at least online. This is been my experience. But one of y'all out there that's like a bigger flat earth type name, get your GoFundMe going. Start up a GoFundMe. I'm sure people are going to donate for this. Heck, I would donate for this, and let's get some people up there in space. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, when it happens. If it happens this year, they say it will. It'll be very, very interesting. The fact is, even if it didn't happen this year, it's interesting to see how close we are to something like this. So, buckle up. Cool looking plane, though. Look at that. It's Virgin Galactic. Cool. Neat. There you go. More pictures. Thought there was a video somewhere. Guess not. Okay, anyway, so there you go. We'll see. Let's see how that plays out, See what happens. Madam Secretary tries to impeach mentally unstable president in Trump-like plot. I'm not even really going to read that, but just more of that. This is a classic, easy example of the social engineering, right? Which is kind of engineering the way you think about things, the masses, or predictive programming could be, where sometimes they drop hints of things they're going to do. It's kind of the lesser magic type thing. But still interesting. But the most interesting thing to me is they have this actress, Téa Leoni. I mean, beautiful lady. And, this is Madam Secretary. So this has been going on for years, this show. So just to me, more of that kind of mind control, really, and she's totally, I've only seen a few episodes, just bits and pieces, out of curiosity, and always makes the right decisions, loves the American people, like a really good person on top of being a beautiful person as well physically, but a really, smart person and typically does the right thing. So this was in our real secretary, of course, our real Madam Secretary was Hillary Clinton for many years. So big difference, I would say. But, this is Hollywood magic at work, as far as I'm concerned. Trying to paint a different picture on it all. Oh yeah, it's like Hillary Clinton, right? Oh yeah, it's like, I get it. She's hot. She's hot. This is a long read. I wish it wasn't. This is something that I could probably make a video on, because there's a thing called death culture, or even Illuminati death culture, which goes back to Geronimo's bones, goes back to the bone culture, keeping remnants of people, reminders of death, the skull and bones. You see this with the American Illuminati, the 322. And that's a whole long thing that we can, not just this article, but there's a whole history of this culture of death. It's really popular in a lot of the secret societies. So now we got how death got cool. The latest death trend is a cross between Haig and Marie Kondo, a sign that dying well has become a defining obsession of our time. So if you want to look that article up, I would. I've read bits and pieces, all very interesting. But now they're promoting death culture. I just did a video a few weeks ago on a suicide machine that looks like something out of the future. And they're hoping to, they're testing them in Sweden like this year, but they're hoping to make them available to everybody really soon. So back to that whole culture of death thing, right? So anyway, check this out if you're interested. What I read was very interesting. I didn't see them connecting anything to, Freemasons or the Illuminati or anything like that, but very interesting bit there. Something to check out. I thought this was really cool. Dogs can't speak human. Here's the tech that could change that. A pet translator could be available in less than a decade. What if your pet dog or cat could talk instead of barking or meowing? You know just how much Rover loves you and maybe how sorry Fluffy is about the mess on the carpet. We all know that's not about to happen. But recent advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning suggest the long-standing dream of being able to converse with animals. I really don't know if I'd want to, but anyway, we'll see. Because in movies and TV shows, a lot of these animals talk, but they're super smart. It's basically just an actor doing a voiceover. But in real life, once we give these animals this ability, we can do this and kind of understand words from them, what are they really talking about? Is it just a bunch of words, like random words, or random garbled words? Will there be sentences? It'll be weird, huh? I mean, I really wonder. Wouldn't it be weird if you found out that 90% of the time when your dog or cat is meowing or barking at you, they're literally saying, I love you? Just a thought. Could be something bad, too. I don't know. Like, I pooped. I pooped. I pooped. I don't know. In your shoe. In your shoe. Or I'm going to kill you when you sleep. I'm going to kill you when you sleep. If your dog or cat's saying that, get rid of that pet. It's not worth it. Here it is. Puerto Rico fears post-Maria murder surge. 11 days, 32 slain. So again, it's easy for us to forget about some of these other countries, but they're hardcore suffering right now. Before the sun rose on the first day of 2018, someone called 911 to report the charred, bullet-ridden body of a man with a snake-like tattoo. Back to the serpents again. Snake-like tattoo on his left hand, lying beside a road in the Puerto Rican town of Vega Baja. The next day, 2 men were found dead with their feet and hands bound in Bioman, a working-class city southwest of the capital. Another man was shot to death before dawn in nearby Vega Baja while trying to stop thieves from stealing his generator. 32 people have been slain in Puerto Rico in the first 11 days of the year. Double the number killed over the same period in 2017. If the surge proves to be more than just a temporary blip, January could be the most homicidal month on the island in at least 2 years, adding a dangerous new element to the island's recovery from Hurricane Maria, its worst disaster in decades. While the number of homicides did not immediately spike in the weeks after the hurricane struck on September 20th, police and independent experts say many killings appear at least partly related to its after effects. Wow, so chaos in the streets, right? Scary stuff. If you're a prayerful person, at the very least, I put up a video on my website a few months ago, and it was filmed in a nice hotel in Puerto Rico by a tourist lady, and she was filming all of the people from, I believe it was Homeland Security, or FEMA. Sorry, she was filming people from FEMA that were there at the hotel with her that were sent down from America. And she'd also traveled around to a lot of the villages and filmed a lot of the damage and what was really going on. And these FEMA people, she said, were just chilling for days in the hotel, eating 4-star meals, hanging out at the pool, having a good time, while all these people in the island were truly suffering. So America, F yeah. I don't know if you ever saw that movie or not, but America, beep, yeah. This was just a goofy bit. Inside the bloody world of hardcore wrestling, where fighters brawl with shards of glass, barbed wire bats, and fan-made weapons in ultra-violent death matches. These shocking pictures show hardcore wrestlers fighting until they are dripping with blood and hurling themselves into fiery pits of glass. So I'm not going to show a lot of the pictures, but I don't watch sports except for UFC. I've always watched the UFC, and there are times where it gets really bloody and violent, and there's symbolism all around UFC as well. That's another story, but it gets really, really bad. And there's times I start wondering, because, pretty much everything evolves, right? Until it dies out. So at least it should. If it remains dormant for too long, it'll just die out early. But, and UFC's evolving. Dana White just sold it for like $3 billion or something. I mean, it's a massive amount of money, but he sold the UFC. And I've thought that, what is the next level? Will there be a next level? Is it going to stay where it's at right now for years and years, like boxing or any other sport? Or will there eventually be stuff like this? There'll be fringe things like this. It may become popular, and when it does, they'll need to get more bloody and violent. And perhaps this will be, the real Roman Colosseums someday. Who knows? But just a thought. So there's that story right there. There's some bloody stuff. There's fire. Smashing the guy down with some fire. USA, USA, USA. Oh, let's see what this is.
A damn roof! Oh, good God on high! Oh my God! What the is this? What the are we seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen? Oh God! No! No! For the love of God, don't you dare! Holy sh! Holy sh!
All right, you get the point, right? So attention. People, they want the attention, and again, sometimes things like this can really catch fire. The more violent, the better. Perhaps would be some people's thoughts on this. Oh, look, she's got the all-seeing eye in her hand, so that consciousness is represented because there's a devil right above it. Here we go. Hiya, sweet cheeks. Beep, beep. Not so much. U.S. military rewrites Hollywood blockbusters to save reputation, research reveals. This was very interesting. So while the U.S. government's influence in Hollywood is no secret, new documents reveal the staggering extent on influence across hundreds of movies and TV shows. Researchers Tom Secker and Matthew Alford secured 4,000 new pages of Pentagon and CIA documents using Freedom of Information requests, which show how U.S. intelligence has been behind the scenes on more than 800 movies and 1,000 TV shows. Wow. The breadth of the collaboration is explained in Secker and Alford's book, National Security Cinema, The Shocking New Evidence of Government Control in Hollywood, which raises questions about the levels of propaganda to which Hollywood exposes its audiences. Here we go. Now we're going to get into the good stuff. They're going to name some names and name some movies. While it may not be surprising to learn the CIA was involved in its portrayal in Argo or Zero Dark 30, the Pentagon's influence in Hulk, Transformers, Avatar, and even Meet the Parents will surprise many. As for television, Cupcake Wars, Oprah, and America's Got Talent may not seem like apt targets for propaganda, but all have allegedly been influenced by either the Department of Defense or the CIA. The authors released the Department of Defense's Hollywood database of collaborations, along with the book, to show how far the assistance goes. While many of the film entries are benign, the database provides an insight into the influence waged, as well as the DoD's amusing summaries of plots. Any producer or writer who asks for access to the military for research has to have their scripts vetted. If they fail to make changes as requested, they won't get the cooperation they need. Producers sign production assistant agreements which commit them to using Pentagon-approved versions of the script. The script. Any reference to military suicides appears to be a no-go for the Pentagon, the authors point out, perhaps not surprisingly, given the high rates of veteran suicides. Coming Home was refused assistance from the Marines as it contained reference to leathernecks in Vietnam cutting ears off dead Viet Cong and portraying an officer suffering a breakdown from his war experiences and committing suicide, the DoD notes. The military doesn't like mentioning losses. Even the Vietnam War, well-established defeat by the U.S., is a touchy subject. The 2003 Hulk movie saw, quote, radical changes made by the Marine Corps, including the code name of an operation to capture the Hulk being changed from Ranch Hand, because that was the real name for U.S. destruction of Vietnamese land with pesticides and poison. References to, quote, guinea pigs dying from radiation was also omitted because it referred to real covert experiments on humans, the authors explain. The Navy refused to cooperate with Top Gun 2 in the 90s after the Navy and Marine Corps scandal known as Tailhook led to an internal report that blamed Top Gun for contributing to a regressive military culture. Assistance was approved for the original Top Gun, however, as it clearly portrayed the Navy in a very positive light. The DoD said, adding that it, quote, completed rehabilitation of the military's image, which had been savaged by the Vietnam War. Meet the Parents saw CIA censorship in the scene where Ben Stiller's character discovers his father-in-law's secret room. An initial script originally saw Stiller discover torture manuals. Wow. True Lies was described as highly fictional but positive depiction of Marines, and military assistance was granted, while Independence Day saw no cooperation due to implausible portrayal of military and stories centered on aliens attacking from space and the anemic U.S. military response. Forrest Gump requested support for training scenes, but the DoD notes the early script had a nihilistic view of military of Vietnam experience. So they said no thanks. But for Air Force One, the DoD notes Air Force provided full cooperation for the film in which Russian terrorists kidnap Air Force One and hold the president hostage. Jurassic Park 3 had its script rewritten to get rid of the, quote, bad military force that was featured. Script rewritten at our suggestion to eliminate all military references since no positive military portrayal seemed feasible, the DoD writes. Die Hard 2's request for assistance was rejected as it met none of the department's criteria for approval, such as historical authenticity, accuracy of feasibility, benefits to understanding of the military, recruiting value, etc., the DoD said. An officer and a gentleman was declined because filmmakers wouldn't change scenes showing a, quote, damaging portrayal of Navy single-parent life, negative portrayal of women living around an air station, and a fight between officer candidate and drill instructor. So there you go. Before our very eyes. Let's all go to the movies. Let's all go to the movies. What else we got up here? Another one here. This kind of connects to that story about Branson's mission to space this year, potentially for the public. You can go to spaceaffairs.com here, and this is a company that's actually been doing this for quite a while. Check this out. And again, this is just for the people out there that may want to, look into this and actually go up in the atmosphere. And here you go, and you can take a look at the Earth, and you can either see the curvature or you'll see the edge. I think they have some footage here. There you go. Imagine sitting up there that high, being able to take a look down. So this is footage from the company. They run these missions. You've got to go through a whole series of tests and everything else to be able to actually do this. But I figured I'd offer it out there, show you that there is the possibility already, if you can come up with the scratch, the money. You got the money, you got the dough, the bread, the cheese. You can come up with the money. You can already go do this. So I would hope there's a flat Earth group out there that'll get together, get a GoFundMe going. Maybe do this, or maybe you can wait for Branson's, but there you go. Spaceaffairs.com. I'm in the jet fighter program section here, but pretty interesting stuff. Just throwing it out there. What else we got here? Oh yeah, this one's pretty wild. Witch doctor claims strange creature caused a deadly bridge crash. Tuko News, the heartbeat of Kenya, reported this week that a so-called witch doctor or medicine man visited this bridge. It's considered a deadly location that has seen numerous auto accidents, including one on December 11th, 2017, that killed at least 19 people, including 12 family members. Tensions and sorrows were high in this area, as that accident came just days after two other fatal accidents killed 7 and 15 people in a month that had already seen nearly 160 traffic fatalities. The report says the so-called medicine man first visited the area under the bridge where he allegedly dug up or possibly found holes, at least one and possibly more strange creatures, which he then brought to the market a few kilometers away. Photographs show someone, most likely the witch doctor, holding something animal-like in the air in a large crowd of people. The report says the man claimed the creatures were responsible. The trolls, the creatures under the bridge, this is a troll story. The report says the man claimed the creatures were responsible for the accidents and recited prayers at the market, where many were saying the bridge was cursed by a, quote, black spot, a possible reference to Robert Louis Stevenson's novel Treasure Island, in which pirates on trial who are found guilty receive a card with a black spot on one side and a message on the other about their doom. The photographs seen here, let's take a look in a second. Photographs seen here are dark and not sharp, so it's difficult to determine what the man is holding. It looks like it could be a decomposing dead animal. The medicine man claimed there were dead cows and sheep in other holes. Before you discount this as just another strange tribal custom, consider how many people believe mangy dogs are chupacabra and hairless bears are aliens. Those who don't follow the witch doctor blame different curses: the curse of negligence by government authorities in repairing decrepit roads, the curse of local police who don't enforce traffic laws, the curse of unscrupulous bus and taxi drivers who overload their vehicles, and the curse of alcohol imbibed at December holiday parties before driving. So let's take a look here. I guess here's the picture. Let's see. Where's those pictures? So, well, that was the link to the picture, but I'm not seeing a picture. Are you? Well, I guess we don't get a picture. Anyway, you can look this story up for yourself if you want to see the picture. I've seen the pictures. I saw them originally when I was looking into this. And like you said, it's just a bunch of people in the market. There's a guy in the middle holding up some kind of it looks like just a bloated animal, but it's hard to tell what its features are. And there's people all around them, holding their arms up and stuff. So who knows? Interesting, but We don't get to see the picture, guys. Sorry. And that's the show. Good night. Have a nice weekend. MGM Vegas police consider SWAT building at shooting site. So, wow, this really reminded me of what they did with Sandy Hook. You know, they completely wiped out the entire area. I don't know if you knew that or not. It's gone. It's like get rid of the crime scene. And now it seems like they're doing something similar perhaps here. MGM Vegas police consider SWAT building at shooting site. Las Vegas authorities and MGM resorts have begun discussing on possibly constructing a SWAT building at the site of the Strip shooting. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reported Wednesday that the discussions concerned a portion of the concert venue called Las Vegas Village. Let's move down. Metro Sergeant Clark confirmed talks had happened, but said it was only an exploratory meeting. MGM spokeswoman said authorities would not use the site as a training area. Deschamps declined to say who initiated the idea. She also declined to say if MGM Resorts would donate, sell, or lease the land to the MPD. But seems to be in the talks. $38 million. Clark County records show that the Las Vegas Village site has an assessed value of $38 million. Wow. One to watch. Here's another one. I'm going to take a quick drink here. Peach tea. In case you're wondering. 63 Sam's Club stores are closing their doors. This happened like kind of overnight. It happened really fast. Sam's Club is shutting down 63 stores, and some employees and customers say it did so without warning. Throughout the day, customers took to social media with questions about why their local Sam's Club stores were closing. Some demanded refunds for their Sam's Club memberships, which cost between $45 and $100 a year. Sam's Club replied to some questions with a brief statement. After a thorough review of our existing portfolio, we've decided to close a series of clubs and better align our locations with our strategy. Closing clubs is never easy, and we're committed to working with impacted members and associates through this transition. But what's interesting, though, is, this is a Walmart owns Sam's, okay? And you remember when Walmart, remember this, a lot of us did videos on this. Yeah, 154 locations, Walmart stores here. And this was about this time last year. It's from January 2016. They were talking about that. See? January 2016. So that's 2 years ago, right? Yeah. Walmart closing hundreds of stores. They were talking about it a few years ago. And a lot of people started wondering, because there is a connection with Walmart to FEMA. So a lot of people started wondering if that's what that was. They were going to shut these down. You can look up online, find the videos of people filming inside of them. Like I said, I did a couple videos on it. Other people have too. So it's very suspicious. A lot of them were saying they were having plumbing issues. They were replacing the plumbing. Most of these Walmarts, as far as I know, they've never reopened again. They're just sitting out there vacant. But a lot of people think this is kind of in preparation for a collapse. Something that maybe, the ones at the top of the pyramid see coming or whatever, and they're kind of getting the system set up, right? And there's also a lot of Walmarts that have multiple cameras. They look like they're set up to hold large amounts of people. Some of them have barbed wire fences around them. I mean, it's crazy, man. There's something going on there. And now, 2 years to the month later, now suddenly all these Sam's Clubs are shutting down. I don't know if it's connected. Maybe it's all just business stuff, but I figured I'd throw that out there, Yeah, check this out. Friends is one of the most popular sitcoms of all time and ran for over 10 years before its finale in 2004. But since the show arrived on Netflix UK at the end of 2017, having been available in the US for many months, it has attracted a brand new and much more sensitive audience. Millennial viewers who were too young to see the show when it first aired have been calling the show out on Twitter for what they deem to be some very problematic plot points. It's happened. This is the generation where it happened. These are, the kind of the children of the New World Order, theology, it's happened. But the generation just beyond them is already giving me hope. I'll just say that. And it's not that I've written off all millennials. I'm just saying that, this is set in that generation, not with all of them by any stretch of the imagination, but by some. So it's still kind of spooky. Millennial viewers who were too young to see the show when it first aired have been calling the show out on Twitter. Got that. The treatment of LGBT characters left some feeling uncomfortable, from the way Chandler was paranoid about being seen as a gay man to his cruel jokes about his cross-dressing father. The sitcom has also been slammed for its lack of diversity, as it has few non-white characters, despite being set in a multicultural melting pot of New York. So I guess there was some... I never watched Friends, but anyway, I know what it is. I don't like sitcoms. It's not a sitcom guy. So this Monica Geller was a fat teenager right here, so body shaming, I guess. And here's some of the responses. Yes, and the fat jokes are so boring now. Hey, remember when Friends kept trying to make fat Monica into a hilarious running gag and it just ended up being needlessly lazy and cruel? Transphobia. Chandler is ashamed of his parents, and the rest of the group used this as fodder to mock him for the whole 10 seasons. It's revealed that Chandler's father had an affair with the pool boy behind his mother's back and works as a drag queen in LA, played by Hollywood A-lister Kathleen Turner. So Chandler makes plenty of jokes at every character's expense, which includes his father. I hate that throughout Friends, Chandler's trans dad continued to be a laughingstock. They always made fun of Carol being a lesbian, and they always made fat jokes about Monica. But what can you expect from a sitcom based in the 1990s? The butt of most jokes from Ross is his lesbian ex-wife and her life partner. Chandler constantly mocks his dad for being trans. Don't let them try and trick you into thinking Friends was progressive on that. They literally do not stop being homophobic. Anyway. Here you go. Everything they've done wrong. Said I never watched it, but it's interesting just to see the way things change. Kids grow up so fast these days, I tell you. I feel like we talked about this on a show a few weeks ago, kind of, waiting on when this guy and Seth Rogen are going to get caught. Maybe I'm wrong, but still, I'm not surprised by this. 5 women accuse actor James Franco of being naughty. He's been very naughty, and he's going to have to go to the naughty corner, it looks like. We'll see. But now he's in trouble for being a creep. And I do think he's a creep. Time's Up. Remember that? Time's Up. Where was that at? The Golden Globe Awards? The sun? The sun symbolism? For Masonic Hollywood. Time's Up. I've seen a lot of people talking about Time's Up as one of the themes. Like, it's time's up for all these filthy men, to finally be busted. But beyond that, what are the other possible implications? And some people believe it's a message for the end times, basically saying, time's up. This is it. So it's another interpretation of this, that he's been very, very naughty and has done some very naughty things, and he shall be put in the naughty corner. I do think he's in some of the filthiest, really most disgusting movies I've seen. Him and his kind of crew. It's super bad. There are elements that were funny in that, I thought, years ago when I saw it, but all this other stuff is really just peddling in my opinion, like kind of satanic garbage. But that's me. Anyway, you're naughty. This is kind of a bummer. Schools attempt to ban kids from having best friends because it's not inclusive. Social engineers and language police won't change human nature. We all like some people much more than others. According to a piece in the U.S. News and World Report, some schools in the U.S. and Europe are attempting to ban the entire concept of children having best friends because it's not inclusive and kids get hurt. Oh boy. They're going to make us all babies. They're going to make them all little babies. Babies. The notion of choosing best friends is deeply embedded in our culture. Child and family psychologist Barbara Greenberg writes, nonetheless, there is, in my opinion, merit to the movement to ban having best friends, she continues. According to Greenberg, there is something dreadfully exclusionary occurring when a middle schooler tells the girl sitting next to her that she is best friends with the girl sitting in front of them. Child after child comes to my therapy office distressed when their best friend is now given someone else this coveted title. We can't put them all in Pampers, Greenberg. We can't. We just can't. You're making them weak. Greenberg says, bring it on. The idea of banning best friends. She explains, I am a huge fan of social inclusion. The phrase best friend is inherently exclusionary among children and even teens. Best friends shift rapidly. These shifts lead to emotional distress, oh God forbid, and would be significantly less likely if our kids spoke of close or even good friends rather than best friends. There's an unspoken ranking system, and where there's a ranking system, there are problems. I see kids who are never labeled best friends, and sadly, they sit alone at lunch tables and often in their homes, while others are with their best friends. Aww. But some of those kids wind up going on to be the biggest leaders of tech and industry, or, the different forms of genius that the world really needs, and other awesome things. But we gotta put them all on a level playing field. Greenberg, we can't put them all in Pampers. Come on, Greenberg. If you guys don't know Veritas Visuals, please check this guy out. Check out this channel. His name's James O'Keefe. And this guy's done some of the most amazing work, like over the last many years. He's exposed so many different groups, Planned Parenthood, YouTube, Google. It looks like he's got Twitter now, the shadow banning. Check out Veritas Visuals. Watch some of these undercover videos he's made, and it's absolutely amazing. He gets some really, really good stuff. So this is the guy that got people from YouTube, like the people at the top of YouTube talked about how they're actively messing with people's channels and banning people and taking away your money and, targeting conservatives and Christians as well and things like that. So just want to throw that out there for Veritas Visuals. I think I can play some of this. This is Twitter. Let's see what happens.
Let's say it was a pro-Trump thing, and I am anti-Trump. I was like, oh, I banned this whole account. They'll go to you, and then it's at your discretion. And if you're anti-Trump, you're like, oh, you know what, Mo was right. Let it go.
The idea of the shadow ban is that you ban someone, but they don't know they've been banned because they keep posting, but no one sees their content. So they just think that no one's engaging with their content when in reality no one's seeing it. I don't know if Twitter does this anymore.
How do you know if it's a bot and not a normal person?
Use machine learning. You look for Trump or America or any of 5,000 keywords to describe a redneck, and then you look and you parse all the messages, all the pictures, and then you look for stuff that matches that stuff.
So is it gonna essentially ban certain mindsets and or people who
could be negative?
No, it's not gonna be the mindset. It's gonna be like a way of talking.
Do you have access to DMs to Twitter? Oh, I do.
It's a lot of bad press if like, you know, people figure out that you're shadow banning them. It's like unethical in some way.
Downrank it. We're trying to get the shitty people not to show up.
Yeah, they say, oh, this is pro-Trump, I don't want it. Because, it offends me, this, that. I say, I ban this whole thing.
I'm pretty sure every single employee on Twitter hates Trump. What we can do on our side is actually very terrifying. Our last video exposed Twitter.
Anyway, that was just some of the video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just giving you a bit of an introduction to James O'Keefe.
Police are trying to solve the mystery behind a gruesome discovery. They think it's at least in part because of a ritualistic sacrifice of some kind. CBS Sports' Carrie Codd has more from the scene where a dozen
And then there's
horses
this.
have been found killed.
This is like a mass dumping area.
Rachel Taylor, an animal cruelty investigator with the nonprofit Animal Recovery Mission, took us into the woods Wednesday. She showed us some of the gruesome finds of horse remains in a remote area of northwest Miami-Dade.
You got horse hooves, bones, hips. I mean, these have obviously been here for a long time.
Some of the stuff she found is too graphic for TV. Some of the remains are old and some are not.
We found 3 legs. Every leg was stripped of the meat.
Taylor said it's not uncommon to find animal remains in this area near US 27 and the county line.
We've currently done about 20 investigations here. Of course, got up before today.
On Wednesday morning, a woman feeding stray dogs here saw one of the dogs gnawing on a horse leg. She called the Animal Recovery Mission, and they discovered a wide area with horse remains, possibly as many as 19 horses.
They're probably being slaughtered somewhere in this area and then dumped here.
Miami-Dade police combed the scene Wednesday looking for clues. Taylor believes some of the horses are being killed for rituals and sacrifices. Like in this photo she took, showing a pot with horseshoes and other items inside with a horse skull nearby. Taylor is horrified by the extent of the killings.
It's bad. I think more attention needs to be put on this. I think it needs to just keep getting blasted out there that this is happening, and people can't get away with this.
And take a look along this gravel road here on the other side of this crime scene tape. You can see some of these feed bags where investigators with the Animal Recovery Mission say they...
Anyway, there you go. Just want to share that. More evidence of creepers out there doing these ritual sacrifices. Never fun. But they exist. I believe there's a rise in this. This is why we keep finding more and more stories about people doing these weird sacrifices and things, even in neighborhoods. In small neighborhoods around suburban type areas, you're finding more and more of these kind of stories. This acid attack stuff, man, I saw a video earlier this week, and it was a lady that had been hit with some acid, and they were doing an interview with her. And what it did to her face, it was just wow. But anyway, so this teenager admits a string of acid attacks against moped riders in London. He's naughty too. Very naughty. Derek John admitted to carrying out the spate of acid attacks against the riders in a bid to steal their bikes during his trial on Monday. He targeted 6 riders in North and East London in less than 90 minutes on July 13th last year. The defendant sprayed his victims in the face with a noxious liquid, which police said left one with life-changing injuries. He stole 2 mopeds and tried to take another 4 from their owners before being arrested at around 3 a.m. on July 14th on 777. 3 a.m. is the end of witches' hour. The witches are not the witches' hour, but what is it from 12 to 3? I can't remember what the term is. The occultists, some of the occultists follow. Bad dude. And all because of stealing. He wanted to take something from somebody else. He's not the only one. There's millions of them. But to harm somebody else just to take something, for money. Sex robot wars. Pole dancing robots go head to head with strippers at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. The provocative androids did battle against the real things at the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club in Nevada. The garter-wearing bots were designed by British artist Giles Walker, who built them out of scrap material. Anyway, here's one of them. Another. I'm trying not to show too much, like the dancers in the back, just because I know I know they code stories like that. This is what they do. Because the girl in the back's in the spotlight, right? And it's what they do. They code stuff like this. But the sex sells, and these rags know it. But look at that, man. That's crazy. It's a robot stripper. I mean, in 5 years, 10 years, if we're still here, people will be laughing at this stuff because this will be just like the basic beginning. It's like somebody playing an Atari 2600 now or something compared to what we have out there. Craziness. So here's some interesting bits here I thought we'd just kind of take a look at. Snuggle robots and talking toilets. So let's see here. The CES 2018, it's the annual Consumer Technology Confab, the Las Vegas Convention Center, and other venues. It says there are tech titans here battling to control our computers, TVs, and smart homes, but our favorite part is the thousands of other companies that gather to launch something new. While these ideas sometimes catch on like fitness trackers and wireless earbuds, many go nowhere. Let's take a look at some of these. It's an internet-connected toilet. So I'm not totally sure how that would work, but internet-connected toilet. It looks like a refrigerator. You can now ask Alexa to flush. Kohler's latest high-end toilet connects to the internet and responds to voice commands. Excuse me. Before flushing, you can ask Amazon's Alexa, as well as Google Assistant or Siri, to lift the seat or activate your favorite bidet spray configuration. There's no microphone on the toilet itself, but there are speakers to play your favorite tunes. It keeps track of water usage. $5,625 and up. There's a cuddle robot, Somnox. This bot just wants to cuddle. It's a bed companion that simulates human breathing. Golly, man. Wow. Again, just dehumanizing the humans, right? But at the same time, we're living at a time of MGTOW and third wave feminism, mother goddess worship, marriages. People aren't getting married as much as they once were. I mean, all this stuff. It's very interesting. So. And it's all a part of, I believe, that beast system agenda anyway, is just to dehumanize us humans and keep us apart. So it's also a part of the post-human existence I believe they're preparing for on some levels. But anyway, when you hug the robot, the rising and falling sensation subconsciously calms you down and helps you get to sleep faster. Somnox can also make the soothing sounds of heartbeats, lullabies, and guided meditation, which you activate from an app. $600, but I can also see some of the benefits and stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting. I get it. It's just Modius, a headband to help you lose weight. Modius has built a headset that stimulates your vestibular nerve, which runs behind your ear and into your brain. You use Modius by attaching a pad to your skin, which has a wire that runs up to the headband. The electric current, Modius says, stimulates the part of the brain that controls your appetite. It's meant to be an extra boost to supplement your weight loss plan. Brain zapping technology is still somewhat unproven. Oh boy, yeah, get me one, right? But several companies claim it can help everything from concentration to pain relief. $500. Foldimate and Laundroid, robots that can fold your laundry. It's pretty cool. Yeah, whatever that is. Laptops. What's this? Washing machine. Anyway, I don't know why these are all blurry. Let's see what happens. There we go. A bracelet to fight assault. Envy's stylish bracelet is actually a deterrent against sexual assault. Like a skunk, Envy's bracelet releases a foul odor to repel attackers. In this case, when you break its clasp, it's not clear how much of a deterrent a bad smell would be. But we commend the idea to develop tech to help discourage attackers. $70. LEQ, a social robot for seniors. Game controller for your feet. 3D rudder. It's kind of crazy, huh? Robot dogs. Seen those before. Anyway, there you go. So I thought I'd share that with you. I thought some of those are kind of interesting. So, all right. Yeah, we got it. We get it. Eminem hits back at the people saying that he's lost it. He's just weird anyway. A lot of people talk about how they replace people, like different artists, actors, actresses, politicians with robotic synthoids. And that technology and all that stuff's very real. I mean, I've covered some of this throughout the years. Other people have as well. But there's real proof of these kinds of things and that kind of technology. I don't know how often they use it. I question it a lot. I'm always looking for things. It's just what I do. A lot of you do the same thing. That's probably why you're here. And there's times I wonder, but he's one I've definitely wondered about. I mean, out of all of them. And again, I could be wrong. There's other ones I wonder, but he just came back just different. Something's different. But anyway, he's the other part of the problem is I believe that, he's another one of these guys that sold his soul. He sold out to this system. So he has to represent, Anyway, he's got some symbolism in here, so I can find it. Well, the way this thing's clicking, it's just not really working with me that well. But anyway, there's symbolism in his video. There's 666. There's also 777. And some other blatant symbolism. But, this is what these people have to do. They sold out to this system. They have to rep it. They rep the satanic symbolism. There you go. Playboy features transgender cover model, Juliana, in German edition. Anyway, more of that, more of the confusion, more gender fluidity. Playboy's weird anyway. It's taken some hits. They stopped for a while. They're featuring naked women. Then they started featuring young, attractive millennial girls that weren't even exactly naked, just videos of them taking pictures of themselves or photos of them taking pictures of themselves. That didn't seem to work out. I don't know. I mean, I don't look at Playboy, but now there's this. This is the German, I guess, version of Playboy, but expect more of it. Just looking at this person's face, I mean, you wouldn't know, just you'd automatically assume that's a woman. And this is how crazy the deception is. It really is. So anyway, there's that. I'll leave it at that. We know all about that agenda, how it's playing out. Were there giants in Bolivia? Lawyer claims he has found enormous footprints near Tarija. That could be the missing link to the ancient giants that roam the area. I just wanted to look at some pictures here. Interesting. It's a big foot. It's a big foot. A little puppy. Hey, puppy. It's checking out the foot. These are allegedly footprints of an ancient race of giants found near Bolivia, January 2018. Interesting, right? Bigfoot. Bigfoot.
a una hora 15 minutos más o menos en vehículo. Les voy a mostrar unas imágenes del lugar histórico para el departamento de para la arqueología. Sería bueno que la gobernación, a través de su dirección correspondiente, pudieran hacer la investigación de estas huellas. Siempre se habló del eslabón perdido, de los gigantes, y efectivamente, seguramente los gigantes existieron y existieron en el departamento de. Les voy a mostrar una huella. Aquí, por ejemplo, ustedes ven la parte del talón que va formando el pie, sus dedos, el dedo grande o gordo. Y esto comparado, por ejemplo, con mi pie que mido 43 más o menos, ustedes podrán darse cuenta bien, ahí. Entonces hay una huella, aquí hay otra huella también, ¿no? Y seguimos por acá, por ejemplo, igual se nota ahí la huella, miren. Sino que el reflejo del sol no deja ver, pero cuando está nublado o la sombra, igual. Entonces, ustedes podrán ver, comparación a mi pie, es enorme, ¿no? ¿Ven? Bien. Entonces, estas huellas están en el departamento de Tarija, pueden ser parte del patrimonio. Son huellas que seguramente, por transcurrir de la historia, han quedado aquí grabadas, son huellas de la historia de los gigantes que han tenido historia en algún momento de la humanidad, ¿no? Es igual. Comparado con pie está clarísimo que son enormes, ¿no? Entonces hay otro tipo de huellas también parecidas al parque de Sucre, ¿no? Por ejemplo aquí, no sé si era de dinosaurio, que sea, ¿no? Por el país se nota.
So there you go. I just want to share some of that with you as well. But interesting stuff, right? Giants. As in the days of Noah. That's my cat just woke up and he immediately knocked a cup over. So good morning. Morning, Chubbs. Thanks. I'll get to that later, okay? Don't you worry about it. Spanish prisoner declared dead, wakes in body bag in mortuary. The 29-year-old man has been described as exceptional after apparently dying and coming back to life in a remarkable fashion. A prisoner in Spain has woken up in an alarming fashion in a body bag in a hospital mortuary after being declared dead by 3 doctors. Gonzalo Montoya Jimenez woke up with marks across his body in preparation for autopsy on Sunday after spending a short time in a cold room. They had already marked the body to open it with a scalpel. According to local media, he woke just hours before the post-mortem examination was due to be undertaken. Scientists are calling it an exceptional case of apparent death. Authorities told Mr. Jimenez's family that the 29-year-old was believed to have died in his cell at around 8 a.m. after he failed to show for the prison's morning count. He was placed in the most dangerous section of the prison population. He was found slumped in a chair after complaining of feeling ill the day before. Officials said he was cyanotic, I don't know, big word. The purplish discoloration in skin that appears after death. You could have just said that, guys, thanks. He also appeared to be suffering rigor mortis. There were no visible signs of foul play and a pulse couldn't be found. Despite signs to revive him, he was declared dead. He was placed in a body bag where he was, quote, resurrected on the autopsy table after doctors saw the corpse move and heard him snoring and wheezing at around noon. Forensic doctors began to hear noises coming from inside the bag. Montoya was not dead, quite the opposite. Forensic pathologists proceeded to open the bag and found the inmate still alive. The family is furious with prison officials and are convinced just one prison doctor examined his body while the 2 others simply signed the death certificate. It takes 3 experts to certify a prisoner dead. Experts suspect a catalepsy may be related to this unusual case. Catalepsy is a condition where a person can be mistaken for dead because their vital signs are slowed to a point where it is almost imperceptible. Anyway, interesting stuff. Very interesting. We've talked about Sophia on here, also the history of the name, back to the mystery religions, back to Babylon, Mother Goddess worship. Robot now has actually been to the UN, United Nations. Sophia takes her first steps. Super intelligent humanoid robot reveals she now has legs. There's a little bit of video of it. It's Terminator, man. It's just like we're seeing the beginnings of all this. I mean, there's an actual Skynet too anyway, but you know, they're intelligent, artificial intelligence and intelligent creations. They've got the robot bodies. Again, 5 to 10 years from now, people will be laughing at this stuff. You know, wow, look at what it used to look like. You know, meanwhile, you're living with one of them and, you know, trying to form a relationship. I mean, not me, but I'm saying that, you know, this is what they want. Mix it with humans. So there you have it. This isn't from this past week, just something, as I was doing research on a recent video, something I found I thought was interesting. There's a post box in Bermuda numbered 666, which receives Google profits worth $8 billion a year. Google has no offices or staff in Bermuda, but sends billions of profit there. Island has a 0% rate of corporation tax and is used as a tax haven, but Google claims it has no permanent base in the UK despite vast offices. Britain lobbied EU not to put sanctions on Bermuda for sheltering tax. Google's communications chief, Peter Barron, today insisted the billions of pounds funneled from the search engine's global network of subsidiaries had no impact on the firm's tax bill in Britain. I mean, boring business stuff, but anyway, interesting, right? Interesting stuff. Google says don't be evil, though.
What's your favorite thing to do?
The next big thing, male sex robots coming. Of course, they, you know, put coming in capitals. Coming in 2018 as demand skyrockets. It's the next big thing. It's the next big thing. It's the next coded stuff. It's the next big thing. Big thing. Male sex robots coming in 2018 as demand skyrockets. You know. Your orgasms. I know, guys. Hey, I'm just saying, male sex robots are coming. Sex robot pioneer Matt McMullen, CEO of Realbotics, unveiled his Harmony artificial intelligence app and robotic head system to the world in 2017. His app allows users to synchronize a bespoke AI personality with his robotic head, creating an eerily lifelike android companion that talks, learns, and satisfies sexual desires. At present, only female versions of Harmony avatars and robotic heads are available to download and pre-order for around $15,000, depending on your customizations. But in 2018, Matt exclusively told Daily Star Online he is aiming to release a male version of Harmony, which he is yet to name. And there it is. Here you go, ladies. No need for us dudes anymore. Get one of these things, I guess. So creepy. So creepy. Here you go, ladies. Oh, nice. Nice. Got the hand down there. Okay. Whoa. Anyway, there you go. I think you get it. All right. Got it. We understand. LA Times admits the left is calling on Satan to stop Trump. But there's a lot of stories. They did screenshots. I'm just scrolling down to look at some of this. Witches cast mass spell against Donald Trump and bid to remove him from office. It's from February 2017. Okay. At Trump Tower. Here it is. I wanted to see if this would play, so let's see what happens here.
I call upon you to find Donald J. Trump, that he may fail utterly, that he may do no harm to any human soul, nor any tree, animal, rock, stream, or sea. Bind him so that he shall not break our polity, in the name of justice and liberty and love and equality and peace. Bind them in chains.
Bind their tongues. Bind their works.
Bind their wickedness.
Yeah, whatever, right? But this isn't even really about, devil, Satanist, versus the good Christian man. I mean, this is also about the matriarchy and the patriarchy. And that's a big part of a lot of these occult religions, or the Wiccan religion as well. And I've talked about that in a lot of the videos anyway, but again, it's just this rise of witchcraft, this rise of this kind of stuff, Scroll down some. How Donald Trump is making witches and Christians fight again. This one. Double, Donald's in trouble. Witches, including Lana Del Rey, another satanic sellout, will gather at midnight to cast it. And that's not just passing a judgment. I mean, we know them by the signs and symbols. We know them by their fruits. But Lana Del Rey will gather at midnight to cast a spell on President Trump and his supporters in hopes of banishing him from office. Witches target Trump with mass occult ritual. Witches around the world plot mass spell against Trump. Anyway, interesting. I thought I'm going to be doing a video pretty soon about everybody's favorite subject, flying humanoids. Okay, I know it's not everybody's favorite subject, but it's something I like a lot. I'm very interested. Did a video a while back, several months ago, called Flying Humanoids Are Everywhere, I think. Maybe that was what that one was titled. But there have been a lot of flying humanoid news coming out over the last few months. I'm interested in this stuff. It's definitely, from the X-Files, I guess you could say. It's some crazy stuff. But I'll be doing a video on that soon because there's been a lot more sightings of these beings, these creatures that seem to be floating through the sky. Let me see what this person's story is here. Witness was driving eastbound on Route 52 on a desolate area of road about a quarter mile from the Ohio River. That evening, there was a cold, misty rain occurring with few cars on the road. Suddenly, only about 35 to 40 feet off the ground, the driver observed a silhouette in the approaching traffic lights, and then from the headlights of his vehicle, what appeared to be a large humanoid creature with a huge wingspan. The witness described the humanoid body as about 5 to 5.5 feet long. The skin color was dark tan. The wings of the creature were estimated to have a wingspan of 12 to 15 feet, and no feathers were observed on the body, only what appeared to be skin. The witness only observed the creature for several seconds as it approached him and passed overhead. The man stated that he never saw the wings flap and that the wings were spread out. He did notice that the joints of the wings were very pronounced, and that the legs were held together and held back, and that the arms were held along the side of the body and extended to around the thighs. The witness heard no sound during the few seconds that he observed the winged creature. So this is just one story, but what I'm compiling is there's news stories as well. There's some news stories out there of these things, and a lot more mainstream type stories of people seeing these things, and articles as well. Chicago is one place they've been having multiple sightings. It's kind of weird. I believe it's Chicago. There's a few, like I said, I'm recently compiling all this. I just wanted to throw this one out there real quick to you, but there's a lot of reports of these things over the last few months, more and more, all across the world. So be ready for that. Research flying humanoids if you're interested. I don't know what they are. I think they're pretty interesting. It's the last story. I'd mentioned this, I think, earlier, that the generation coming up under the millennials, you're seeing them be a lot more conservative, they're saying. They're also not getting as much into technology, trying to kind of pull away from some of that as well. And it's just some interesting things are happening. And anyway, this seems like kind of right in there. With the number of high school age teens who are having sex dropped markedly over a decade, a trend that includes substantial declines among younger students, African Americans, and Hispanics, according to a new government report. The survey by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention showed especially steep declines in the past 2 years. It adds to evidence about ongoing progress in reducing risky behavior by teenagers who are becoming pregnant, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, and using marijuana at rates lower than younger people before them, according to public health surveys. So it's interesting, right? Early initiation of sexual activity is associated with having more sexual partners, not using condoms, sexually transmitted infection and pregnancy during adolescence. The report noted it called the falling rate of sexual activity among 9th and 10th graders especially encouraging. So there you go, man. Some good news. It's good news. I mean, because the generation just before them, again, millennials, I'm not just hating on millennials. Like I said, man, they did that to us. I'm Generation X. You know, we were like, you know, the last generation of humankind. I mean, I remember all that stuff. You know, same thing. So we were different, you know, but same. And, you know, sexting is one of the things with that generation, you know, the sexting thing. That's where a lot of this stuff kind of started coming up, and people sending pictures of their TTs and their tutus, you know, and their bleep bleeps and their bing bongs, and it just gets crazy, you know. So, but that's been a real thing, like an epidemic. And now we see it looks like the younger generation coming up, you know, it's like, look, each generation, we always rebel against the other one. You know, you always try to do the opposite of the ones you saw before you. Like the tattoo thing. I think the tattoo thing is going to keep dying off as well. You know, it's not always going to be that way. The tattoo thing came in Generation X, where people, when we started getting tattoos, and it became mainstream. It became normal to have tattoos and cool and acceptable, and, you know. So, you know, the younger generation will fight against the older generation and do different things and go the other way, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. It doesn't mean they'll be perfect. They'll have their weird things they do too, just like every generation, but we got to hold out hope, right? Right? That concludes the news. But I'll jump over here real quick with you guys. Let me turn my volume off on this. There we go. Hey guys, I just want to jump over here real quick and say hello to you. And once again, thank you very much for being here tonight. Also want to thank you, those of you who support my work through Patreon, through PayPal, also through supporting my sponsor, Silver Botanicals. I really appreciate it, man, more than you know. I posted a little something over on my Patreon the other day, just reminding people, hey, thank you. You know, I appreciate you. It means more than anything. I mean, it really helps, like I said, and it helps me to be able to continue doing these shows and make the kind of videos I make. So just thanks so much. And if you're looking to support, if you'd like to support my work, you can go to my website, Who is KG Osborne. I'll leave a link below. There's links there for Patreon or PayPal if you're interested, whatever. And I appreciate it. Like I said, I'll stop rambling now. And big thanks to Silver Botanicals as well. So, so that's it. See ya. No, really, guys, thanks again, man. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to schedule a Catching Up with KJ show this week so we can just hang out and chat more, okay? Because these shows, I like to just kind of get right to the point and just do it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and end this for now. But once again, I'll just say thank you. And, you know, we'll be back next Friday. But before then, I have more videos to come. And I really appreciate you guys. So God bless you. Have a safe weekend and all. And we'll talk to you a little later, okay?